Peace and love to all of you. Today I wanted to share a book that I have read before, and it's one of my favorite books. It's called, can you see it? It's called The Four Agreement. I love this book. People who know me knows that I absolutely love sports, and one of my favorite player, Tom Brady. I actually read this book and he was talking about it, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go steal some of that book and learn something good from him. So anyways, this book has a four agreement that we make in life that makes our life better, our situation. I absolutely recommend it. Please, everybody, please go get it and read it. I'm serious, you won't be disappointed. So, this book has four different agreements you have to make with yourself. Nobody else but with yourself. To make your life happier, to make your life better, and to be a better person, to be honest. So, the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Impeccable. I love that word. That's one of my favorite words. Being impeccable. It's being without sin. Not really. But it's just using your word for good rather than for bad. So, one example that I thought of is like Hitler. Hitler was a very smart man. He had like a good education, but he used his word to destroy the world and to bring on World War II. If you know anything about Hitler, go search him. I don't want to talk more about him. Anyways, the other person on the opposite side, you can look at Gandhi. He used his word to help people and to stop a war and to build his community. And so the second agreement is don't take everything personal. I think it's natural for us to take things personal and to be defensive. And that's how nature created us. And so that's the one of the agreements I struggle with, to be honest. I take a lot of things personal. And I'll tell you an example. A couple of years ago, I went to Starbucks, and I have a son that was 3 years old, and what he did was he run in the back, where the counter are. And the guy, and I was about to get Starbucks, the guy who was serving me, he got pissed, and he said, if you let your kid one more time come this way, I'll kick you out. And what did my instinct told me? To defend myself and my son at that moment. And I went off on him. But I went back to my car. I was with my sister too. And I went back my car and I said, dang it, that's not how I was supposed to act. And my sister is like, oh yeah, you should have just talked to him nicely. Maybe he could have a bad day today. And I said, you're right. I got out. I went inside and I apologized to him. And I said, you could have just gave me a warning rather than saying you will kick me out. And I took it personally because you told him you're going to kick us out. Anyways, that's one example. So don't take things personal because you'd never know what that person is going through that day. Anyways, okay. The third agreement is don't make assumption. I know that's one thing I struggle with too. We take things like we assume. And we look at things and we assume without knowing what's going on in that person's mind, in that person's life. You know, we look at people, for example, you're walking and you see a homeless person, and you could say, you can get a job. You look healthy. You look like a human. You can use your mind rather than standing there and bugging. But we don't know the story of that person. We don't know what he'd been through. We don't know if he was in jail, he just got out, and he can't work for nobody. And he applied so many times, and every time he got denied and denied and denied. Or he might have a mental issue that he can't go and work with people. The one thing he chose to do is beg and ask somebody to give money. So I'm just saying, don't assume. And the four agreement is always do your best. Always, no matter what, do your best. And yes, some days your best is amazing and flawless. Other days, what you can't do. As a mother, if my son was sick all night long and I was up all night long with him, and then the next day I had to go to work, my function from yesterday into the day is going to be completely different. But I'm going to still do my best with what I have, the energy that I have. So just do your best. It doesn't have to be always perfect. As long as you give your best, your mind will rest in peace because you are giving what you have. I'm not going to expect you what you don't have to do. So that's it today. You guys have a blessed day. I love you all.